to all of you. I don't have slides. I'm not using much technology here. So I will stick to my 10 minutes maybe. I'm not going into what kind of technologies. I think this has already been dealt with in detail. I think what kind of technologies can be used. What will be the scenario in 2035 in terms of population, in terms of climate change, because I think these are two major issues which are yet to reveal. I mean, we are still fully not understood all these things. I think morning somebody said what is certain about thing is uncertainty. So I think I'll start with that. I think there are a lot of technologies, though they are not modern technologies, which has been left out in the document. One, I think there are a lot of rainwater harvesting technologies which has been traditional systems, be it the step wells of Rajasthan or the system which is, you can see in Hampi, which about almost 400, 500 years ago, it sustained a population of 5 lakh people. And it had a rainfall about 600 to 700 millimeter rainfall. So I think these were sustainable systems which lasted for quite long. And these systems are still there. You can still renovate it. They are, in fact, most of these traditionals, highly refined technologies. You can see the tank systems in the entire East Coast from Kanyakumari to Orissa to Andhra Pradesh, which are also climate change resilient systems because especially the East Coast, when you don't have a well-defined monsoon system, which most of the rainfall is because of depression in the Bay of Bengal, and you have unpredicted rainfall, excessive rainfall. I think these systems were able to absorb those shocks also. And these systems are, these kind of shocks are going to be in much more higher frequency which is coming. So I think the document should also look into those kind of accidents, or which you can actually foresee these accidents very well in space. I think we need to create more water spaces rather than going into high technology. I think, of course, technology has its role. I think my earlier speaker said people have a mentality, like psychological issues with drinking treated sewage water. I think now we live in a space technology where even the urine and even the breath of the dogs and the lab rats which go to the space station, the IS space station, this is being converted back into water and which they use. And the quality of that water is, in fact, 100 times better than the best quality water which we get through RO systems or other systems. So I think in future, with all your children sitting there, we should not be averse to looking at drinking sewage water or treated sewage water. And I think with good technology, you can have perfectly pure water. I think, and most of the solution lies because I think the kind of water we get is not so bad. Even if you look at the dry areas like Rajasthan or something, you still have 300 mm, 400 mm rainfall, which is, even if you collect it fully, I think it may, to a great extent, satisfy your drinking water requirement. So rather than having centralized large-scale water purification systems, it's always better to have decentralized water purification systems, which may be treatment of sewage. Like, I think sewage water now, there are a lot of technologies already available. You have the root filtration, biofiltration method, the root zone treatment method where you can get, and if you treat those water, I think you can get as good as good quality water than what we get in the taps today. I think not many people touched upon the clean air or the clean air technology, so I'll just touch 1 or 2 points. I think in terms of air, there are 2 issues which we have to look at. One is the indoor air as well as the external, like when we go outside because of vehicular pollution, other things. I think the World Health Organization has identified indoor air pollution as one of the largest killers of the Indian women. And most of this indoor air pollution is not the smoke only. I think there is a reference to smokeless chulas. I think we should correct that. It's basically the indoor air pollutants which are not invisible pollutants which come out of burning firewood. So I think you should have firewood stoves which are also fuel efficient. I'm not saying they should not be fuel efficient, but there are stoves developed by the Indian Institute of Science, Center for Sustainable Technologies, where the Astra stoves 2+1, where Professor Lokras has worked on almost 100% IAP free, indoor air pollution free stoves, where even one of the pollutant, which even if you have a smokeless chula, when if you have a chimney, the main pollutant is the black carbon, the soot. The soot which goes into the atmosphere, it's a greater danger than all other things. So in fact, even the soot can be trapped in these Astra stoves, and this soot can be incorporated into the soil, which becomes a carbon neutral also because I think there are recent advances in the application of biologically activated charcoal in agriculture fields, I think soil fertility, because there are also given mutually helpful thing. In terms of external air, I think we should have a relook at the entire the forest management or the green cover management systems which we have. I think one good example to look at is Chandigarh. Chandigarh is a very planned city. If you have gone to Chandigarh, you could see that there are service roads on both sides, and the roads are, you have a very green color of screening on both sides of the roads. I think this will filter to a great extent your vehicular pollution or the dust pollution which will come. So I think I'm not going more detailed into that because my time is limited. One thing, as far as potable water is concerned, is to look at local wisdom. As I told you, most of the water bodies today which we see has come out of traditional technologies, local wisdoms, which age back to 100, 200,000 years, 2,000 years. None of our current irrigation engineers, I think morning also there was a discussion on this, there is no irrigation engineering per se in any of the university systems, which should be actually a mix of civil engineering plus, I think we don't have a concept of hydrological engineering. I mean, there are very few people who understand hydrology, the way water works. And you should also need town planners, basically town architects. And it should be, I think, I think the technology vision document should also call for new engineering streams created, because there is a big challenge of this irrigation as well as drainage. See, in Pondicherry, we know we have irrigation channels and drainage channels, and these two have two different functions. I think all people who work on irrigation management knows that drainage channels they collect excess water when you have extra flooding, whereas irrigation channels are channels exclusively for so. So engineers who don't understand the difference between irrigation channels and drainage channels, and in their lifetime, either they have not been taught to in their engineering courses how to design channels, they don't even know how to maintain those systems. So I think we should have a relook at these things. And thirdly, I think the entire people's participation point of view is missing. I think any of these water systems, any systems which you create, whether it is good technology or which is all acceptable, which is it's a completely good vision document. But I think the people's participatory, whether it is participatory irrigation management or whether to see people as partners, as doers, as people who actually operate and maintain these water systems, then only this is going to be sustainable. Because sustainability, I think, basically all of us understand as three variables, which is ecological, sociological, and economic. So either three of these things are not met, many of these initiatives which may come out of this technology vision document may not be sustainable on the long term. Maybe I'll finish with that, but I think in short, I think you have to catch water where it falls, because rather than allowing it to run away, this is the age-old saying, but I think we should stick to that. Number two, whatever systems we plan should be decentralized, because India is so diverse. We have so many agroecological systems. We have hill ecosystems, coastal ecosystems, desert ecosystems. So I think it should be decentralized systems which are manageable by the local communities. So I think capacity building is a big question there. Whenever systems are, even if it is desalination, when you have decentralized systems, I think the problems are much more manageable rather than large centralized systems. So I think above all, I think with all the children here, I think we should have an element of water literacy, the entire hydrology related to water, whether the water doesn't know politics. So when it rains, when it floods, it goes and wherever the low slope is there, so it goes up. So I think the entire water literacy has to be a major component, and not only children, but also consumers, all residential association. We should have a massive outreach program, which he had successfully done in Pondicherry. So I think with that, I will I think a document like technology vision document should actually dictate to all the states, because see, sometimes agriculture is a state subject, and whatever the central government says may not get translated. So I think participatory irrigation management involving farmers or local people as partners in any systems, I think is mandatory. Thank you.